What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my first anime review on this channel, and I thought I'd start with a childhood favorite of mine. Today, I'm going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's time to do.
First things first, this is just going to be the 4Kids dub version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's the only one I've really seen. I have unfortunately never watched the Japanese version. We're only going to talk about this Yu-Gi-Oh! We're only going to talk about this. We're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I'm not going to be reviewing Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, whatever the hell that is. We're not going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal or Zexal, or however you say it. This is one letter away from something very inappropriate. And we're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. What the hell is this crap right here? No, we're not going to be talking about any of those atrocities. We're just going to be talking about the original Yu-Gi-Oh! TV show. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was created by Kazuki Takahashi in 1996, and it tells the story of young Yugi Moto who solves the Millennium Puzzle and unleashes the secrets of said puzzle, along with a 5,000-year-old pharaoh who doesn't know who he is because apparently being trapped in a box for 5,000 years gives you amnesia. He and his friends Joey, Taya, and Tristan, or Jonochi, Anzu, and Hiroto in the Japanese version, all go and accompany him to uncover the secrets of said Millennium Puzzle and the spirit, aka the pharaoh within. Along with that, the ever-encompassing duel monsters also plays a huge part in this whole series, as we will find out. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a childhood favorite of mine. I remember every Saturday morning watching it. Honestly, even just watching like all the other shows just until we get to Yu-Gi-Oh! And my parents getting angry at me because they were wondering when I would do my homework. Who needs homework when you have Yu-Gi-Oh! I was always very excited to watch it every week. And of course, having a circle of friends who watched it along with you was pretty good too, so that we had something to talk about come Monday morning at school, because we don't talk about homework at school, we talk about TV shows at school. It was good stuff, man. It was good times. We had some fun times. I also did play the card game as well. I'm gonna get into that, definitely. It was a childhood favorite, but watching it again years later, I definitely do see it in a different light, which is kind of what I want to share with you guys in this review. Now, I want to talk about a couple of the characters in this show. I want to talk about, of course, Yugi. They show him off as a bit of a shy and timid character towards the beginning of the show. They don't really do too much character development for Yugi in this whole series, but I guess that's kind of his character does develop a lot more in season 0, I'm guessing. So I will definitely be watching that. If you want me to review that, I will do that as well for you guys. Yugi's character is definitely a lot more deeper than some of the other characters, just because of his connection with the Pharaoh, aka Yami Yugi, aka Atem, as we learn towards the end. I feel that he has definitely helped Yugi be a lot more confident in school and a lot more confident in life. Some characteristics of Yugi has rubbed off onto the Pharaoh, such as, you know, being a friend to people, you know. And I think that's the big theme in this whole thing, is friendship. Going back to the characters, I would say Joey is definitely the one guy who goes through the most transformation. He really learns the value of friendship and standing up for something you believe in, and standing up for your friends when they're in need. Coming from a rough background where his parents are divorced, he and his sister Serenity splits. I think that whole arc with his sister really did contribute to his development. When he was possessed by Merrick, there are times when Joey comes out, he doesn't want to destroy Yugi. Very good way to show how far Joey has come since the first season. I mean, that's only in season 2, but you know, in seasons 3, seasons 4, season 5, showing that this guy is the most loyal person ever. You know, you can depend on him for anything. The Joey we get in season 0/season 1 is definitely not the Joey that we get in the end of the show. So I would say Joey was always my favorite character, just because I thought he was a bit of a badass when I was a kid. But now, going from, like I said, this street kid and this brawler to one of the most loyalist companions of Yugi, really does make it a lot more charming for me. It really did make me fall in love with the character of Joey a lot more. So another character I did want to touch up on is Seto Kaiba. He is running a million dollar gaming company. And here's the thing, unlike Joey, which I think is perfect because Joey and Kaiba are total opposites and they really hate each other, so that makes perfect sense that the character development or lack thereof of Kaiba is the exact opposite of Joey. While Joey learns the value of friendship and transforms into a very loyal subordinate of Yugi, Kaiba unfortunately doesn't have anything like that. He only has a soft corner for Mokuba, his little brother. That still doesn't do much for him. That really doesn't change him at all. It does not do anything to further his character development. Yugi continues to include Kaiba and everything, but Kaiba is just like,
screw the rules, I have money.
And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I feel that made no sense because Kaiba, even throughout the series, he sees giant monsters and stuff like that destroying everything in his path, and he just brushes it off as a hologram. I'm like, how does a hologram do this much property damage? How does that make any sense, Kaiba? Can't you just see that it is happening in front of you, yet you refuse to acknowledge that this is real because apparently you're the only person in this whole world who has access to holograms? This is stupid. This is ridiculous. Why is it like that? And I don't understand why in the world he is not really willing to accept the fact that stuff like this is really happening, even towards the end of the show. It doesn't make sense. You see all this, but it doesn't change you in the slightest. I think anybody would be changed, if they saw a giant monster attacking their city. I think everybody's perspective on life would be a lot different. But for some reason, Kaiba still remains adamant and as stubborn as ever, and as rich of an asshole as he can be.
Screw the rules, I have money.
It doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. And speaking of writers, let's talk about some of the writing in this show. Oh my goodness, the writing is ridiculous in this whole series. This is like probably the biggest flaw of the entire show. For example, there are certain times, like, the Pharaoh, for example, he's supposed to be this 5,000-year-old dude, and he's probably should be like the smartest of everybody, but he somehow ends up looking like a goofball. Like, for example, during a duel, like, someone will lay a monster in defense mode and play like 2 cards face down, and the Pharaoh will play like one strong monster and attack the weak monster, and then they'll be like, oh, you triggered my trap, and the Pharaoh will be like, what? How? When did you play this? It's like, dude, he just played it like 1 turn ago. How in the world did you not see that? And plus, did you not realize that he was baiting you into a trap? And that's not how a 5,000-year-old Pharaoh would play this game. How in the hell do you expect to be the king of games when you're having all these brain farts? Stuff like that was really ridiculous. The entirety of season 4, absolutely terrible. Terrible dialogues. Terrible writing. It just felt so childish. It felt like a 12-year-old wrote this. And I guess it's because of 4Kids and they had to censor a lot of stuff from the original dub. I can kind of understand it. However, it really does affect the overall enjoyment of the show. People who we expect to have a little bit more brain making stupid decisions like this. I just don't get it. So, I mean, that is just one of many examples of really bad writing throughout this entire series. The reason why I hate the writing so much is because it makes a lot of characters look like a bunch of big dopes. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, and I guess this kind of coincides with the writing of the show. Let's talk about the actual game of Duel Monsters, how it's played in the show and how it's played in real life. Fun fact, I have played Duel Monsters quite some time back in the day. I am a retired Duel Monsters player, I guess. I know the rules, I know how to play it, even though now, like with the Synchro Summon and the XYZ Summon, for me that doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm kind of glad that I quit while I was ahead. I feel that in the show, especially in season 4, which in my opinion was the worst season in this entire show, they fudged the rules so much so that they just want to make it convenient for our heroes. You can't do that. Now, I understand that you cannot translate the actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! as it is into the show. I know that you're gonna have to make a few changes here and there, and that's fine. But can we adhere to that certain set of rules instead of just changing them every season just so it can be convenient for our heroes? I felt that was another big flaw in this entire series. Even back then, I was just like, how in the world are they doing this? I remember I used to even use the show as a reference to the rules, and they're like, no, you can't do that. I used to do certain things when I used to play because I was like, oh, I saw Yugi do it, I saw Kaiba do it, and my friends would be like, no, who cares? You can't do that. It's against the rules. That was just weird, in my opinion. If you are a lover of the show, I would think it is your opinion as well. Let's talk about some of the antagonists in this show. I felt that a lot of these antagonists have a very, very interesting story. Like, sometimes in a good way, sometimes not in a good way. For the most part, they all end up turning good. I wish there was just one villain that just was destroyed off the face of the earth. I guess Bakura, he completely is evil and he gets wiped out for good. So that was cool. But except for Bakura, every other character, Pegasus, Merrick, Noah, Dark, all turn good in the end. I'm all for villains seeing the light of day, but every single villain is like that. Every single villain was just a good guy turned bad. I wish we just had one villain that was just evil from the beginning. And I guess we do get that with Bakura, which actually makes him my favorite villain in the entirety of this show. Talking about Bakura, he starts out in season 1 and doesn't really have too much of a role. He kind of just accompanies Yugi. I mean, we do get the first instance of the Millennium Ring. We learn that he was a thief and he wants to steal Yugi's Millennium Puzzle. However, I feel that his intentions weren't really solidified until season 2. Season 2, we learn, he starts teaming up with Merrick, who said, get me all the Egyptian god cards, and then I'll get you your Millennium items. I'll give you my Millennium Rod, I'll help you get the Millennium Puzzle. So he's a collector of sorts of all the Millennium items. And then in season 3, we do have him duel the Pharaoh, but no real development of his character comes in then. When they all go to the virtual world with Noah, we don't really hear much from Bakura. And even in season 4, they just completely forget about it. How convenient, right? In a way, season 4 is just filler. Okay, that's really what it is, because they don't even get to keep the legendary dragons in the end. They don't even get to keep Timaeus and Hermos and Critias. They all just dissipate. Like, why? So why was this season even there if there is no return for the heroes in this? I mean, yeah, great, they saved the world, but there's nothing that they get in return for it if you really think about it. I think in season 5 is when we really start to scratch the surface with Bakura. In season 5, we learn that he also is 5,000 years old, but his memories are still intact, unlike the Pharaoh. His character does, pose much more of a threat than we originally imagined. He eventually does release a entity known as Zork, which is basically Satan. He is kind of basically part of Zork. He wants to bring destruction to mankind so that he can rebuild the world in his image, kind of a new world order. I feel like that was one of the best villains, probably one of the best written villains in this entire show, just because he becomes more and more of a threat as the show progresses. So Bakura is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh villain. So now I do want to touch up on some of the themes in this show. I did kind of allude to one of them earlier, but I thought I'd flesh it out a little bit more now. One of the themes definitely in this show is friendship! The close bond, the tight bond that Yugi, Joey, Taya, and Tristan share with each other. Never say die attitude that Yugi Moto has. And I think that was one of the best lessons that we can learn from this show. Friendship is forever. Through thick and thin, no matter what, you are there for your friends when you need them. Always. I feel that kind of really got to me. I don't want to get too sentimental, but I can tell you this. All I've ever wanted in life was friends. I always wanted to be that friend who has a shoulder to lean on. You can talk about anything with me. And I feel someone like Yugi is very similar in that respect. I feel that he has definitely shown what a true friend is. Who says you don't learn anything from anime?
Friendship!
It is a phenomenal theme. Another one that I do want to talk about is the theme as old as time, the triumph of good over evil. This is a metaphor for life. You know, no matter how hard the challenge is, if you do persist, if you go through with it, no matter how hard it gets in life, you will find a way to overcome your challenges. Doesn't matter how big or how strong they are. Even in many times, Joey does, mention, oh man, we've dealt with bigger than this. We can do it, And like I said, again, that never say die attitude from every single one of them, that really does make the show what it is. It's not just about, the terrifying monsters or the card game or Seto Kaiba being a rich asshole.
Screw the rules, I have money.
Despite all that, the big theme in this show is definitely that. And another thing I wanted to talk about though before we go, kind of continuing with the themes, in the last duel between Yugi and Atem, which by the way was one of the most emotional duels I've ever seen, and it was just, it really tugged at my heartstrings that finally, this journey is over. You know what they say, right? Don't feel bad that it's over, be glad that it happened. And I feel like Yugi and the Pharaoh, their connection really did help with both people's development throughout this show. Yugi, like I said, being a shy, timid young high school kid, becoming as confident and as determined as the Pharaoh is. And Yugi, rubbing off the Pharaoh, Pharaoh learned the value of having good people around him, having friends around him, having people he can depend on. One of the strongest parts, one of the most powerful parts of this entire series is how people rub off on you as well. I thought that was really endearing and really powerful for this show. Overall, I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a good show. Despite the bad writing, despite fudging the rules just to make it convenient for the heroes, and of course, Season 4, I feel that this is a fun show to watch. It is an entertaining show to watch. Obviously, there are some fantastic elements that you really can't believe. I mean, there's even a part of Season 5 called Capsule Monsters, which becomes basically like Pokemon, which it was entertaining, but it doesn't really do anything to further along the story. Even the tournament in the beginning in Season 5 with Siegfried didn't really do much for me. I think honestly, they just did those for them to be filler because, every season, I guess, has to be like 50-something episodes long. So I guess that's why they did it. Honestly, I would have just been fine with Season 5 being learning about the Pharaoh's past. That was the best part of the series, when we finally understand where the Pharaoh comes from. That was really great. But other than that, I do think that despite some of its major flaws, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still a fun show that you can watch. Just even if you want to just relax, you want to just turn your brain off, it's a great show to watch. You can learn a couple of things from there as well, as I did. As far as a rating goes, I give Yu-Gi-Oh! A thumbs up. If you did make it all the way to the video, I do have a very special treat for you guys. I still have some of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I actually had quite the collection of cards for a long time, and then once I said, you know what, I'm going to stop playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I kind of gave it away. I remember even for one of my friends, using my big collection of cards, I helped him create a deck. It was me and 4 other friends of mine. We all actually had different certain type of monsters to our decks. One of my friends had a zombie deck. Another friend of mine had a spellcaster and a beast deck, which is the deck that I helped them build. The 2 friends of mine, they were a brother and a sister. The brother had a pyro deck, and the sister had a aqua deck. One story I do want to mention before I talk about some of my cards. I remember my friend with the spellcaster deck / beast deck, when he used his spellcaster deck, helped beat my friend with the aqua deck, and he was all boasting and everything about it. So I was like, you know what, I bet I can beat you with her cards. So I took her cards, and me and my spellcaster friend played, and I whooped his ass and did not lose a single life point. That is I think that's one of my crowning achievements, and I know I sound like a little kid again. We had some good times, but I'm going to just show you guys some of my cards. I'm not going to show all of them because I do think that will take a while, but I do want to show a few of them. I'm just putting out some of them now. These are some cards that I got from friends, some cards that I gave to friends. Okay, so these are some cards that I wanted to mention. Hold on, let me put out one more. But yeah, I wanted to talk about a few of these. You're probably wondering now, okay, Sid, your friends had all these decks. Which one did you have? Well, my deck consisted of my Ancient Gear machines. That's right, I had my most rarest card, which was the Ancient Gear Gajiltron Dragon, if that's how you say it. Now you can obviously go ahead and pause the screen if you want, and you can read some of the effects, because if you do sacrifice either red gadget, green gadget, or yellow gadget to summon this monster, or this monster, Ancient Gear Gajiltron Chimera, if you do tribute any of the gadget monsters to summon these guys, one of these bad boys, you get a certain effect. Let me see. Maybe I can go a little closer. These were like the like flagship card. This was like the flagship card of my machine deck. It was called Machine Revolt, for those who are interested. I'm sure it's still around, but I know that there are. I know that there are like a bunch of other decks now. Like I mentioned, I know that there are like the Synchro summons and the XYZ summons. I really don't understand any of that. I just don't. So I'm kind of glad, like I mentioned, I'm glad that I kind of quit while I was ahead. A couple of cards that I want to talk about. Oh yeah, this one right here. What is it? The Fusilier Dragon, the dual mode beast. This monster, of course, you can read the effect, but this is of course an 8-star monster. But you can summon it without tribute, but the attack and defense does go half. So the attack and defense was 2,800 and 2,000 respectively, but when you normal summon it, it becomes 1,400 and 1,000 respectively. This was actually given to me by my Pyro deck friend, and he said, this could help you with your deck. So, I want to thank him for that. Another card I want to talk about is this one. Sakuretsu Armor. Now, this one came with the Machine Revolt deck, but I had 2 of them, and I actually gave this one to my zombie deck friend. I actually gave one of them. He said, hey, I really want that one. And I think he gave me either Yomi Ship or Sangan for it. And I think, those are actually 2 monsters that... Oh, no, the Yomi Ship was given to me by my Aqua deck friend. And so she gave me that. Sangan was given to me by my zombie deck friend. And I think he gave me this for one of these. I know it's not like the best trade ever. This card right here does kind of hold a special place, just because now I know that a friend of mine has the same card and I gave it to him, so that's kind of a bond, I guess, that we share.
Friendship!
Another card that I got from a friend of mine, I don't know exactly how I got this, but I thought it was cool, and it was a machine. I think this was when I was starting out creating my machine deck before I got Machine Revolt. I got this when I started making it, and then I saw the machine deck in stores, and then I bought it. This one, Steel Scorpion, I think it's a really cool card. When your opponent destroys this card, 2 turns later, that monster is destroyed. So that was pretty cool. And the last but not least, the card I wanted to show you guys is my Jinzo. Yes, I know it's kind of falling apart and whatnot, but Jinzo, this was a very special card to me as well. I think I did win this in a duel, and I've been having it ever since. And I know it looks a little bit different, but I promise you guys it is a real card. It's not fake. Look in the back if you want to check. But and I did, by the way, have some of the Egyptian god cards. I had Obelisk the Tormentor. That was fake, I'll give you that. But I also had Slifer the Sky Dragon. I actually had a friend of mine, he had all 3 Egyptian god cards, and he just gave me Slifer the Sky Dragon. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, just take it. I was like, okay, fine. And so yeah, but Jinzo, going back to Jinzo, this is a very special card, which is why I was so critical of their portrayal of Jinzo, because they were like, if you have Jinzo on your field, you can play all the trap cards you want, but the opponent has to suffer. And that's kind of stupid. I think it should be just as it's said. I don't know how hard it is to follow the rules. I mean, this rule especially. So yeah, but Jinzo is very, very special to me. It's one of my most special cards. So all these cards were special because, I mean, this one I gave to a friend, but these all are very special to me because I had them given to me by all my friends who are still friends today. They just don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think they still have their cards, but they don't really do much with them. Neither do I. I mean, every now and then I do like whip them out and take a look at them. Like right now, I mean, I took a look at them, right? But yeah, so that's there. And also, I actually do play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and my Duelist ID is right here. You can check it out there. I'll also leave it in the description below, so if any of y'all want to connect with me, and maybe we can have a friendly little duel. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna say I'm an expert, but I think I can hold my own in a duel. So if you guys do want to ever do that, please do add me as your friend in in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links if you would like. So those are my thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh! Seasons 1 through 5. Let me know if any of you who have seen the show back when you were a kid, and if you got the chance to watch it now, let me know how it's held up for you. Let me know all that stuff in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.